Hello everyone, welcome to KPU International's Summer 2021 registration webinar. My name is Stephanie and I'm a Global Engagement Manager with the advising team. I'll be your facilitator for today. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone for being here. Many of you are joining here with us from all over the world, and we're excited to be part of your journey to the Canadian education. And we would like to let you know that we are here to support. Before we welcome our presenter for today's registration webinar, I would like to quickly go over a couple of housekeeping items. I'm sure you have lots of questions and inquiries for today, whether they're related to registration, admissions, and/or generally life as an international student in Canada. Throughout today's session, please feel free to leave your questions in the Q&A box on the right side of the screen. A number of staff from KPU International will try to answer as many of your questions as they can. If it is a recurring question, they will publish the question and answer for all of you to see. So before posting your question in the Q&A box, make sure to review the questions that are already answered and shared publicly. Secondly, I would like to let everyone know that we will be recording today's session and sharing the video with students. Please keep an eye on your email communication for later this week to find the link to the video. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to the presenter of the day. Sarah is an international academic advisor at KPU International with extensive experience in working with international students. Sarah, please feel free to start your presentation.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world right now. So like Stephanie mentioned, my name is Sarah. I'm one of the 7 academic advisors at KPU, and I'll be leading the registration webinar today. Okay, so we do have a lot to cover. I do recommend if you have a paper and pen in hand, take notes as we go through. Even though the presentation will be recorded and you'll be able to watch it later on, I still recommend that you take notes because that's probably the best way that you can retain some of the information that we go through. Okay, so let's just get started. So why are we here? So obviously the number one priority for us is to be able to go over the registration process itself and to demonstrate to you how to be able to register for your courses for the upcoming summer intake. And then we'll also go over some other important information, such as how to access your KPU email, go over KPU Moodle. We'll go over the university calendar as well as how to view important dates and deadlines. And we'll mention, we'll kind of introduce you or give you information about the KPU Peer Mentorship program. Okay. So before we go into demonstrating how the registration system works, it is important for you to understand that KPU operates 3 academic semesters per calendar year. So now the calendar year runs from September to August. The first semester being the fall semester, and then we have the spring semester, and then it's the summer semester, which you will be enrolling courses for. So the summer semester, it runs from May to August, fall is from September to December, and then spring is from January to April. If you look at the registration column here, you can see that registration for each term usually starts about 1.5 months before the semester begins. So right now you're able to, you should most likely have a registration date for the upcoming summer semester for mid-March. So most likely March 15 would be your registration date if you're a new student. And then for the following fall semester, you will get a registration date sometime in mid-July, meaning you'll be able to register for your courses in the middle of July for the fall semester. So because you have that 1.5 month before the semester starts, we do recommend, and also you'll be able to know your registration date 8 weeks before registration opens, okay? Approximately 8 weeks before registration opens. So you have plenty of time to plan your courses ahead of time. So I would recommend that, for the fall semester, if you're not sure what courses you want to take for the following semester, do see an advisor sometime in May or June to be able to plan your courses for the following semester. You don't want to wait till the end, because during registration period it is quite busy. You won't be able to find an appointment with an advisor, so it's always recommended that you see an advisor early on, as in the second or third month of your semester, and enroll and kind of plan your courses ahead for the next semester. Okay. So maintaining full-time status, this is very important, especially if your end goal is to apply for post-graduation work permit. You must maintain full-time status in Canada throughout your studies if your plan is to apply for work permit, okay? And full-time at KPU means that you're enrolled in at least 9 credits or more in each semester, okay? So minimum 9 credit would be considered as a full-time student. Now, having said that, KPU does have a scheduled break policy that allows students to take 1 semester off in a year. It can be any term, fall, spring, or summer, but the condition is that you have to be a full-time student prior to your scheduled break and after your scheduled break as well, okay? If you do plan on taking a scheduled break, or even if you, let's say that you were a full-time student at one point, and then you want to drop to a part-time status for any particular reason, or you just want to enroll in part-time studies for 1 semester, or take the term off altogether, prior to doing that, please do see an advisor, because it is important that we make sure that you are eligible to take that break. If you take that break and you're not eligible, it can really negatively impact your work permit, okay? So this is very key. I also just want to kind of talk about, because it's most likely some of you might not be in Canada, you might be overseas. And let's say that summer you are a full-time student and you plan on coming to Canada for the next semester. We don't recommend that you take that term off, even though technically you might fulfill the schedule break policy as per KPU's policy, but in your first semester when you're coming to Canada, we do recommend that you enroll in full-time studies, regardless of whether it's your second, third, or whatever semester. In your first semester, you shouldn't take a break while you're in Canada, because your intention should be to study when you're coming and entering Canada, okay? So if any point you're considering taking a break, again, I would stress that you see an advisor first before just taking the term off, okay? So moving on to course registration. So before I go into that, so there are 2 pieces of information that you will need before you're able to go ahead and register for your courses. Obviously, you need your student ID number. So that is your student number itself, which you can find in your letter of acceptance on box number 4, and then your default password, okay? So the default password is just your date of birth entered in the following format. So you have the date, first 3 letters of your month, the first letter being capital, and then the year. Okay. The first time that you log in with your default password, after that you will be prompted to change that password. Okay, so if you're already logged in the first time with your default password, the second time that you log in, you will be asked to change it. So make sure that you change your password, and there's a certain criteria that you have to follow for the new password. It has to be a certain number of characters. It has to include capital letters, numbers, and all of that. So make sure that you follow the instructions and create a secure password. Okay. So next, I'll demonstrate the course registration process, but in order for you to do that, you won't be able to obviously register for courses just yet, because like I mentioned, registration for summer semester starts March 15, so you won't really have access to the registration system just yet. I'll show you what you have access to in a bit, but the first thing you'll have to do is sign on. So you can actually sign into One.KPU directly. We'll go over what One.KPU is a little bit more later on, but you basically, on the top right-hand corner, you'll have this button called sign-in button that you can use, and you'll use your user ID and your password to sign in into One.KPU. Once you're signed in, this is the application that you will look for in order to register for your courses. Okay, so it's called Register for Classes. So you'll search for this and then click on it, and then you'll be able to start your registration. So Like I mentioned, most of you, if you're a new student, your summer is your first semester, most likely you will have March 15 as your registration date, and the time you'll also be provided a specific time. So I'll kind of show you how you can find that, how you can look for the specific date and time if you're not sure what your registration date and time is. So let me just open okay, so this is basically what you will see. I think the color might be a little bit different. You might see the red KPU color here instead of blue, but for most part, this is what you will see when you go to the registration system. So in order for you to be able to see what your date and time is, you'll click on Prepare for Registration, okay? And then you'll select the term, so summer 2021 we'll select, and then we'll click on Continue. So this is where you can see what your specific date and time is, okay? So as you can see, for me, it's stated here March 5th, 9 a.m. So I do have you won't have March 5th, you will have a later date. It's just for test purposes, I have that ability to be able to, in order to demonstrate to you, I have been assigned a date and time. But the date and time that you're assigned, basically from that time onwards, you're able to register for your courses, okay? And you won't be able to register for courses earlier than that. Like I mentioned, March 15 is the first day that students are able to access the registration system and be able to register for courses. New students, they get that priority registration date. So do take advantage of that date and time. Once your date and time starts, register for the courses right away, because seats do get full quite quickly if you delay, and if you decide that, oh, I'm going to register for classes a week later, or maybe you may decide that I might wait until I get my study permit approval, then I'll register for classes. You don't want to do that, because most likely by that time classes would be full, and then you'll be struggling to find classes to get into. Okay, so take advantage of that time, and then you can always drop from the courses if circumstances change. Before the semester starts, you can drop and get 100% refund for that course. Okay, so let's just go back to our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so when you go to register for classes, so basically when you would be actually clicking on here, register for classes, in order to register for courses. The first time that you do that, you will be prompted with this. You will get this action item that you basically need to clear in order to continue with the registration process. And the link that's provided here kind of goes over what that action item is and a little bit more detail about it. So if you want to read more information, you can do that. But I'll just go over a short video in terms of what you will see when you actually try to register for your courses. So you won't be able to register right away. You'll have to clear this action item before you can start registering for your courses. Okay, so basically you'll have this pop-up message come up that you have an action item pending. So it's really important that you click continue and not cancel. Okay, so you must click on continue. Once you click continue, you'll have this here. So you'll click on the links to social insurance number, submission fall. Okay, and then you'll have kind of a blur about what SIN number is. Basically, a SIN number is assigned to you if you are in Canada and you have the ability to work in Canada. You can apply for a SIN number. It's a unique 9-digit number that's assigned to an individual. They can use. They can provide their employer, and as well as it's also used for tax purposes. So you won't, if you're outside of Canada, you won't be able to apply for one. You need to be inside Canada in order to have a SIN number. So most likely you won't have one. So basically you will scroll all the way down, and then you will click on I've not entered a SIN as I do not have one at this time. and then you'll hit save. And once you hit save, then from that point onwards, you should be able to register for your courses. I just want to mention that every time that for every semester, once your registration starts, you will get this prompt message, okay? And then you have to clear this action item until a time when you have a SIN number and you have entered one into the system. Once you have a SIN number and you've entered one, then you won't get this message anymore, okay? So every semester, if you don't have a SIN, continue, saying that I don't have one at this time, and then just hit save. So basically, once you hit save, you will see that you'll have this bar will turn green, and then you can click continue, and then you'll be able to register for your courses. Okay, so let's just jump into the registration demonstration. For now, like I said, you won't be able to register for your classes, but you have the option to browse classes. Okay, so if you click here and click continue, you can kind of search for the courses that you might be thinking of taking and see who the instructor is, what date is being offered. Oops, let me just 11. You can just kind of browse and see if the course is being offered or not, how many sections are being offered, and things like that. So you can kind of plan that way. So once your registration date and time begins, you can go ahead and click on register for classes. Okay, and then you'll hit continue and select the correct term and click continue. And then here you can search for whatever courses that you want to register for. Okay, so for instance, let's say that you wanted to take Buku. Okay, so yeah, so Buku 1130 is one of the courses that some students might have to take, especially if they're in a business program or a computer information systems program. So you just enter that, and then the full name will come up. So you'll select that, enter the course number here. If you click on advanced search, there are other features that you can use to kind of search for courses like campus. You can select specific days that the course is being offered, but obviously, I mean, if you select this, you're narrowing down your search, so you might not be able to get too many options in terms of the courses that are available. Okay, so I'm just gonna search Buku 1130 and hit search. Okay, so these are all the sections that are being offered for this specific course. So you can always, there's a second page as well, so you can make sure that you move on to the second page. If it turns out that all the sections in this first page are full, make sure that you check out whether there's a second page as well. So just going over the meeting times, so you'll see that a particular day is grayed out. That means that the course is, you're required to be online on that specific date and time. So just, I mean, this is just to go over, like the first S is basically a Sunday, then it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So for this specific section, you are required to be, let me just kind of expand this column. So you're required to be online on Thursdays from 10 to 12:50, okay? Just keep in mind that sometimes the final exam time will be stated at the top. Sometimes it'll come up at the bottom. So for example, let's see. Yeah, see here it's at the bottom and the class timing is stated at the top. So you just need to be careful about that. It interchanges. So just because, just don't assume that the time at the top is the class time, okay? So you'll see each section, there are different days that you have to be online. So even though most classes are online, there's still many of the courses are asynchronous, meaning that part of the course is offered completely online, so you have access to notes and lectures and things like that you can kind of watch on your own time, but still there are days that you are required to be online and where the instructor would be maybe teaching a specific topic or maybe there'll be a discussion going on, and so you're required to be online for that specific day and time. And then you also have the exam dates that are stated here. You won't know the date until your course starts and the instructor will let you know what the date is, but you can have an idea as to which day and time it is on. Okay, and then you can see the instructor information here. This is in this column status is where you'll see in terms of how many seats are open, how many waitlist seats are open. So if you end up seeing that, you know, all the seats are, if it says 0 of 35 seats available, that means that all the seats are taken. But if you still see that, you know, it says 5 of 35 seats available, that means there's still 5 spots open for waitlist that you can waitlist for. What else? So when you're taking courses, it's really important to note down the timing of your courses and make sure that you don't register for 2 courses that have the same that require you to be online on the same day and time. Even the final exam shouldn't, the timing shouldn't overlap, because if it does, the system will give you an error saying that there's a time conflict error. So that means that, you know, you're trying to register for a course where either the final exam time or the class time is overlapping. Okay. So let's see if I can, so I'm just going to go back and give you another example. So chemistry 1110 is another course that you might have to take. So I just want to kind of show you that in most cases you'll see campus you'll see the campus as online, but in some cases you will see that let me just expand this. You'll see that the campus is listed. Okay, so that means that chemistry 1110 is a blended course, meaning that you are required to be on campus for portion of the course. Some of the lab courses, they are blended. So for the lab component, you have to be on campus, whereas the lecture is online. So if you're not in Canada and you don't anticipate to be in Canada before classes start for the summer semester, we don't recommend that you register for any blended courses, okay? Because you won't be able to complete the course, the on-campus portion of the course, and that's going to be an issue, okay? I'm just gonna go back. For some reason, it's not giving me the option to add the class. Let me just try to see if I can. So I'll just give you another option. Maybe this is try biology 1110. Okay, so now, so again, when it comes to any lab courses, you'll see that you'll see this I guess statement here called, it'll say linked basically. So you want to make sure that when you're registering for any lab courses that you register for both the lecture and the lab component. And the lecture is indicated by the credit. So if it says 4 credits, that means that's a lecture. If it's 0 credits stated, that's a lab component. Okay, so if you just add, let's say if I just add the lecture component and I click on register, make sure that the register is selected from the drop-down menu, and you do have to hit submit after that. So if you click on submit, you'll see I'll get this error called linked course register for both parts. So that means I do need to add both the lab and the lecture component in order to be able to successfully register for the course. So I've just added the lab component, and I'm just going to select register here for both and then click submit. And now you'll see that I have successfully registered for the course. Once this turns green, that means you have successfully registered for the course. Okay, now having said that, I'm not able to kind of show you what waitlist looks like because all the seats are open at this point. But if you see that the course is full, basically under the drop-down menu, you'll see the option waitlist. Okay, so you'll select the waitlist option, and then you click submit. And again, if you're successfully placed into the waitlist, this would turn green and it'll say waitlisted. Okay, and again, like you'll see more options here once the registration period starts. So again, if you need to drop, you just select drop and click submit again. Later on, you'll also get this option called withdraw. So withdrawal is an option that you can, once the add and drop period has passed, once you're not able to register for classes online, and you want to drop from a class. You can't technically drop, but you can withdraw from it. So you'll see an option here, withdraw, and then you'll just select withdraw and click submit. Again, if you're thinking of withdrawing from any course, it's best that you speak to an advisor first, just to make sure that it doesn't affect your full-time status. Okay. Just one thing that I want to mention, when you look at here and under schedule details, basically you'll be able to see all the information about your course here. You'll see this tiny arrow here. So sometimes it's not, it'll be pointing this way, but if you just click on it, you'll be able to see more information here. So the thing to note down is if you're on the wait list, you can see what waitlist position you're on here. Okay, so if you have put yourself on the waitlist and you're just curious in terms of what waitlist position you're on, you'll be able to find that information here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's just give you one more example. So I'm just going to search another course. We'll just search for info 1112. Hit search. Okay, so I just want to show you what happens when I click on add. And then I'm going to click on, so make sure that register is selected and then click submit. So sometimes it takes a while, but I basically want to show you that there are some courses where there are certain prerequisites that you have to meet in order to be able to register for a course. Info 1112, if you click on this link here with the program name, you can see that you'll be able to see a short description about the course, and then you can also see if there are any prerequisites to the course. Prerequisite is basically it's basically a requirement that you have to meet prior to you being able to register for that course. So sometimes it can be a math requirement, it can be another course that you have to have completed prior to you being able to take this specific course. And just to note that if let's say for this specific course, a prerequisite was that you have to have info, maybe info 1110 completed. I'm just making a random course here. For that specific course, like if you did info 1110, you have to complete that info 1110 course and score a minimum C grade in that course before you can go ahead and take the info 1112 course. So it's not just completing the course, there are minimum grade requirements for that course as well. And most often the minimum grade requirement is a C grade unless otherwise stated. So if it's not a C grade, it'll mention what grade you need for that specific course in order to meet the prerequisite requirement. You will also see something, sometimes you might see co-requisite. Okay, so co-requisite means that you have to take that course alongside. You can either take it alongside the same course or you can complete it before taking the course for which that is a prerequisite for. Okay, for some reason it's taking a while. Let me just kind of reset and try again. Just want to show you what it looks like. Let's see if it works. So I'm just going to click drop for this. And another thing that you can that I can actually show you, you'll see at the very bottom there's this option called conditional add and drop. So this becomes important when you are registered into your courses, but let's say that there's a specific course that you want to take and then drop another course in place of it. You want to check off this conditional add and drop. This will make sure that the system will only drop you if you are if you're able to successfully register into that other course. Okay, sometimes seats might be full, even though you might see here it might say 1 seat available. It's not, the information is not really it's not updated in real time. So if it says 1 seat available, by the time that you try to register for the course, it's possible that some other student might have already registered. So just to be on this, just to ensure that you're not dropped from the course before you were successfully registered into the other course, it's always a good idea to check off the conditional add and drop. If you don't do that and you just select to drop and register, you'll just get dropped from the course. And if you're not able to if for some reason you can't register for the other course, you also not get registered for that course as well. So you end up losing your seat, okay, for the course that you registered in. So I'm just gonna try again and see if it works. If it takes a while, then we'll just move on. But basically, I just wanted to show you that for Info 1112, there's a math requirement. So if you don't have that, you'll get this basically like a red box with the error stated saying that prerequisite co-requisite not met. Okay, so I'm just gonna move on because for some reason this is taking a while. I think that covers most of the kind of information that you need to know prior to registering for your courses. One thing I just want to mention for those of you who are if you're in Pathway, so if you have been admitted into the Pathway program and you're required to take ELST courses, you'll note that you might be able to take 1 or 2 undergraduate courses, but the courses that you can take have to be part of the undergraduate list, and you can find that if you go to the kpu.ca/pathway website and you click on undergraduate options here, you'll be able to see a list of courses that you can take depending on which pathway level you're in. Okay, if you try to take a course that's not included in this list, the system will give you an error saying that it'll give you a level restriction error. Okay, also you have to make sure that you register for your ELST course first before you register for the undergraduate course. Okay, so that's just for students who are in the Pathway program. Okay, so let's just move on. I hope that was helpful. So I'm just gonna, again, so we'll just go over common registration errors. I think most of them I've already went over. Closed section, you'll see this if you're trying to register for a course that has that's full. Again, if that happens, you have the option to waitlist, so you can go ahead and do that. Sometimes you'll see when the waitlist is full, if that happens, it'll inform you that both the section, the waitlist section is also full. It'll tell you that. Prerequisite co-requisite error, again, I mentioned that. So if you see that error, I would recommend that you read the course description to see what the prerequisite or co-requisites are, and then you would have to complete those first prior to you being able to take the course that you're trying to take. Time conflict error, I went over that as well. So make sure that whenever you're registering for courses, and also if you're waitlisting for any courses, make sure that you note down the date and time, because when you're waitlisting for any course, at that time it'll allow you to waitlist, but it won't give you the time conflict error if the timing is conflicting with any of your registered courses. You'll see that error when a seat opens up and you're able to register for that course. At that time, if the timing is conflicting with any of your other courses, you will get the error, the time conflict error at that point. So just make sure that any course that you register for or waitlist for, make sure that the class time as well as exam time doesn't conflict with one another with any of your other courses. Okay. Link error, we also went over that. If any lab course that you're trying to take, you must ensure that you add both the lecture and the lab component and register for both at the same time in order to prevent that error. Okay, there's just a link provided here. It mentions a few more errors that you might encounter, but the ones I mentioned, these are the most common. You're more than welcome to check out this link here if you end up, if you get a different registration error and you're not sure what it means, you can check out the FAQ page and you might be able to find the information there. But obviously you can come and talk to an advisor as well, and we will be able to kind of help you with that as well. Okay, so the KPU grade 12 math requirements. So for students in any science program at KPU, so for any student who's admitted into the Faculty of Science and Horticulture, as well as some other programs, math is required. So you're required to have math in order to be able to take university level physics, chemistry, or math courses. If you don't have grade 12 math, so usually a minimum grade of C is required. If you don't have grade 12 math and you're in the Faculty of Science and Horticulture, the course recommendations that you have been given, you will see that there are some options provided to you if you don't have grade 12 math. So in your first semester, you will have a few options that you can take, but in the following semester, you will struggle in terms of the courses you can take. So we do recommend that if you don't have grade 12 math and you are pursuing any program within the Faculty of Science and Horticulture, you do see an advisor. And we can give you options in terms of how to overcome that prerequisite requirement. There are options there, but you must make sure that you should be able to clear that requirement within your first semester, hopefully, so that you are able to take your main core courses, your main science courses in the following semester. Okay. Okay, yeah. So again, you'll get a prerequisite error if you don't have grade 12 math and you try to register for any university level math, physics, or chemistry courses. You'll get the prereq error. Okay. Okay, so now we'll just kind of briefly mention the type of courses that are being offered currently at KPU. So full-time courses, intersession courses, there are qualifying courses, online and blended courses. I'll kind of touch base on each one of them. So the most common type is the full-time course, okay? So these courses take place for the entire term. So for example, for the summer term, your classes will run from May to August. Some of the common types of courses are Education 1150 and Writing 1100. We do recommend that if your program has the option for you to be able to enroll into elective courses, that you take Education 1150 and or Writing 1100. Education 1150 is basically it's a course that's specifically designed for international students, and the focus is to be able to introduce students on higher education in Canada. So this is a really useful course to take, again, if you have the room for electives in your program. Writing 1100, this is another useful course. You will find that in many of your courses you are required to submit writing assignments. So the number one issue that international students kind of struggle with when it comes to their courses is the writing part, because obviously, I mean, English is not your first language, so it may be difficult for you to be able to write long research assignments and things like that. So the Writing 1100 will give you the basic skills that you need to be able to write, start your assignment and kind of draft it, as well as it'll give you kind of information about how to paraphrase, how to cite things, how to reference. So especially if your program has the requirement to take English 1100, we recommend that you take Writing 1100 prior to taking English 1100, because English 1100 is a very advanced English course where you are required to prepare a lot of writing assignments, research assignments. So Writing 1100 will give you the skills that you need to be able to excel in any course that has a writing component to it. Okay, and again, I don't want to stress that only register for these courses if you have the option, if you have the room for electives in your program. If you're not sure if you're able to take electives in your program, then please see an advisor and we can confirm whether these two courses would be a good option for you or not. Okay. Intersession courses, so these are condensed courses. They run about 1.5 months, so they don't run for the entire 4 months of the term. So don't expect that intersession courses. Some students think that they might be easier. They're really not, because the course is for a shortened time period. So that means there's more material that's covered each week. So the amount of material that's covered is the same as it would be in a full-term course. It's just that everything is condensed, so you have to cover more in per week. Okay, so you have to kind of basically you have to be on top of things, because you will have to invest more time each week in the intersession courses as you would compare to a full-term course. So there are 2 sessions that are offered, one in the beginning of the semester and one in the middle. So for instance, for the summer 2021 term, session 1 classes start on May 10 and they would end on June 22nd, whereas session 2 classes will start on July 5th and they will end on August 16. Okay, now having said that, just keep in mind, intersession courses, they're not offered every semester, and in each term, I mean, there are not a lot of options for intersession courses. Some students think that, you know, every course has that intersession course option that they can take, but that's not true. Mostly summer semester, there tend to be more options for intersession courses, but other semesters, there are not a lot of options. And as an advisor, I would recommend that if this is your first semester, don't enroll in intersession courses. You should probably enroll in full-term courses, because like I mentioned, intersession courses, they are accelerated courses. There's a lot to cover in a very short time period, and it can be a little bit daunting, especially if this is your first semester and you choose to do a condensed course. Okay. Another thing to note down is that add drop deadlines, they are different compared to full-term courses, especially when it comes to like session 1 classes in terms of the 70% deadline when you can drop and be eligible for a 70% refund. It is different for full-term and session courses. So make sure that you go over the add drop deadlines page and familiarize yourself with the deadlines before choosing to register or add or drop from the classes. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's it for the session courses. Qualifying courses. So qualifying courses, these are courses that are meant to, they're sort of like preparatory courses that are meant to allow you to upgrade your skills and knowledge to be able to take undergraduate studies. Okay, so they're not considered undergraduate courses. They're just, you can kind of consider them as like a high school level course. So for example, like I mentioned, students who don't have the grade 12 math requirement to be able to take university level chemistry, physics, or math courses, one of the options that you will be given is to take math qualifying courses. Okay, so that's basically you'll take those courses to upgrade your knowledge in math. Once you have done those courses, then you will be able to take the university level math courses or whatever course that math is a requirement for. So the way to identify whether it's a qualifying course or not is by the letter Q. So you'll see that it'll end with ENGQ, MATQ. So if you see a Q at the end, that means it's a qualifying course. And the important thing to remember is that these don't count towards your program because they're not considered undergraduate courses, like I mentioned. In terms of satisfying your full-time status, yes, you can use qualifying courses to be a full-time student. Let's say you're taking 1 or 2 qualifying courses, each are 3 credits each, and then you're taking another UG course alongside. That would count as credits, and you'll be able to maintain your full-time status. But in terms of those credits counting towards your undergraduate program, they won't be counted. Okay. So going on to online courses, I think when I was doing the registration demonstration, I kind of went over this. So again, you will see in the registration system, the campus will show as online. So there are 2 different kind of online courses that are being offered. Majority of them are asynchronous, so meaning that majority of the course is online, where the instructor will post the material on KPU Moodle, and you have to just log in and study at your own pace. There will be some days that you'll be required to be online, which will be indicated on the registration system in terms of what date and time you have to be online. Few courses are there offered as synchronous, meaning that there's no requirement for you to be online at any day or time, and that obviously you'll be able to see that in the registration system as well, where no time will be indicated, no day or time will be indicated. That means the course is completely synchronous and everything will be posted online by the instructor, and you have to study at your own pace. Okay, just going over the top 2 points. So I think the first point is pretty straightforward. Face-to-face classes, they're replaced by online readings, assignments, and projects. And you must be a good self-learner. You must be a self-learner and have good time management skills in order to succeed in these online courses. So online courses, I mean, they're by no means easy. You do have to have a lot of discipline and be able to pace yourself and manage your time efficiently in order to succeed in these courses. Okay, and especially if you're taking 3 courses, you have to I would recommend that have a schedule for yourself in terms of having deadlines for you to be able to complete any of the readings, or if there's any material that the instructor has posted, make sure that you have deadlines, set deadlines for yourself in terms of when you want to complete those. And there will be assignments as well that you have to submit, and the instructor will give you deadlines for those as well. So, it's a good idea to have a calendar just to kind of note down when what is due and all of that, especially when everything is online. Okay. Moving on to blended courses. So blended courses, again, I went over this. These are courses where part of the course is online and the part of the course is on campus. So you'll be able to see whether a course is a blended course by the campus location. So if there's a campus indicated, if it's it's Richmond, Surrey, or any other campus that's indicated, that means it's a blended course, and you have to be in Canada in order to be able to take that course, because you will have to be in person for that specific part of the course. Okay. So now that we have went over all of that, I'm just going to go over like sort of a to-do list that you should kind of keep in mind before your semester starts. You should kind of get familiarized with all of these items that are mentioned here. So number one being one.kpu. So we went over that when we were going over the registration demonstration. So basically one.kpu is a platform that gives you access to many different applications in a single sign-on. So once you're signed into one.kpu, you can access any of the applications that are available in that platform. I would recommend, so the applications listed here are probably the ones that you will use the most often. So I would recommend that you note these down, and once you log into one.kpu, you can actually, if you search for each app and you click on the heart icon, it'll make it your favorite. And every time that you log in, you'll be able to see those apps at the very top. So you don't have to keep searching. It'll always show up at the very top once you select the heart icon. Okay, so University Calendar, that's one of the applications that you'll be using most often. Student email, dates and deadlines page, international orientation, course websites, register for classes, online self-service, the iSent app, and the Learning Center. So these are the ones that are most popular. So I would recommend that you make those your favorites. Okay. So we'll go over a few of them one by one. So KPU student email. So any student who's admitted into KPU, they automatically are assigned a student email ID and a student email account. So you don't have to apply for one. You're automatically given a student email account, which you can access using the same student ID and the password that you have created. So the KPU student email is used for university communications, including emails from your instructors, advisors, as well as any important notices that the university may want to communicate to students. You'll have that. You'll receive an email in your KPU email for that. It is important that you check your email regularly, because sometimes you might get important notifications, especially during the registration period. If you are waitlisted for any courses, you will get an email as soon as a seat opens up for you to be able to register for the course. You'll get an email letting you know that, okay, there's a seat open now. Please go to the registration system and register yourself for the course. So you will have to go back to the registration system and make sure that you select register from the drop-down menu for the course that you were waitlisted for, and then click submit in order to register for that course. So again, you only get 24 hours from the time that you receive that email in order to do that. If you don't take any action within that 24-hour period, you will lose your waitlist spot and you'll be dropped from the course, and then you'll have to register again and put yourself on the waitlist again. Okay, so make sure that if you're on the waitlist, make sure you regularly check your email. And even regardless of that, you should check your email frequently, because there are important notifications that are sent to you, especially during this time. During the COVID time, there's always updates that are happening, which we will communicate to you to your KPU email account. Okay. And then also, if you need to reach out to anyone within KPU, make sure that you use your KPU email account. If you use your personal email account, most likely you won't get a reply back. It's just for security purposes. We're able to, if you use your email account, we can verify that it is the student. So it's really important that you use your KPU email account to communicate internally within KPU. If you're wanting to email an advisor, your instructor, so use your KPU email account and make sure that you include your student ID number as well. Okay. Again, if you don't include your student ID number, most likely you'll get a reply back saying that please include your ID number. Okay. So going through online self-service, so I think many of you should already be familiar with the online self-service portal. You can use this, you can access many different, features through this app. So that includes paying your tuition fees. So you can pay your tuition fees through here. You can check your grades. You can view your unofficial transcript from here as well. You can update your personal information. So that includes your phone number, your address. So if you're overseas and once you do come to Canada and you have a Canadian address and a Canadian phone number, make sure that you update that on your online self-service account, so that if the university needs to reach out to you, we have that information in order to do so. Other than that, I mean, you're probably using your online self-service as well when you're about to declare your program, or when you're graduating and you have to apply for graduation. You'll do that through this app. Okay. So next is the university calendar. So this is it's really important to familiarize yourself with this, because this is basically the official guide to all of KPU's academic programs. I think I briefly kind of showed you how to navigate through that, but this is where you should refer to the university calendar whenever you need to plan your courses, because if you follow the university calendar, you can't go wrong. Okay, so I'll just kind of quickly show you. So when you go here, so it's basically calendar.kpu.ca, and on the left-hand side, I mean, there's lots of other information that you can see. You can see all the courses that are offered throughout the calendar year at KPU. But if you want to see the program requirements for your specific programs, you'll click on faculties and programs, and you'll be able to see a list of all the courses that KPU offers. Okay, on the left-hand side, it's more broken down based on faculty. So let's say that you are in Faculty of Science and Horticulture. Let's say that you're doing a 2-year diploma in science. So if you're doing the Associate of Science degree, any associate program that you do, there's a framework that you have to follow. So you would basically click on the framework. I just want to kind of show you the difference. If you're doing the diploma in science and you click on requirements, you'll see a list of courses that you have to complete right away. If there are any requirements, any declaration requirements, so sometimes there are some requirements for you to be able to complete in order for you to be able to declare into that program. They will also be listed here. Okay, so for diploma in science, you have to basically follow this, and once you meet all of these requirements, you can apply to graduate with this specific credential. If you're doing the Associate of Science degree in General Science, again, there's a framework that you have to follow. So you'll just click on the framework, click on requirements, and then it'll tell you what you need to complete in order to be eligible to apply for this the Associate of Science in General Science credential. Okay, so it's really important that you refer to the university calendar every time you are planning your courses. Okay, so let's just go back to our PowerPoint. So important dates and deadlines. So this is a page that you should probably bookmark in your computer or your phone or whatever. And every semester, before the semester commences or before when registration starts for the following semester, make sure that you review the dates and deadlines and are aware of when the 100% refund is, when is the 70% refund, when the tuition payment deadline is. You can also see any university, sorry, I'm just going to close this. So you can also see any university closure dates that when the university will be closing. So I'm just going to quickly kind of show you what the page looks like. So again, it's just kpu.ca/registration/dates. So we'll just kind of click on the plus sign for the summer 2021 term. And then you can see when the first day of class is, you can see any closure dates. And you can see when the last day of class is, when the exam period is, grade submission deadline. So this is when instructors have to submit the final grades. And then here, this is where you'll find when you can drop the classes and be eligible for 100% refund. Like I mentioned, the deadlines can differ in terms of full term and session courses. Okay, and then here you can see that in order for you to get a 70% refund, you must drop the course before May 23rd or by May 23rd. And again, session 1 and session 2 deadlines, they are different. Okay, so make sure that you review these deadlines every semester. It is your responsibility to be aware of that. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to go over with that. So the next is the iSend app. I think most of you should already be familiar with this, hopefully, and would have downloaded the app. If you haven't already done so, we do highly recommend that you download this app. It's really useful. It has a lot of information in terms of your pre-departure checklist, arrival checklist. You also have the option to upload your TRV as well as your study permit once you have it. There are some frequently asked questions that are also available in the app. If you're going to be planning on coming to Canada, you'll be using the iSend app to sort of update us on your quarantine status. So once you're in Canada and once you've completed your quarantine, you'll be updating us through this app as well. So if you haven't already done so, please do download this app. Okay. International orientation, again, you'll get an email. I'm not exactly sure when the exact orientation will be taking place as of yet, but you will be informed through your KPU email as to the dates that the orientation will be held, as well as how to register for it. So this is really, highly recommended for you to attend. There's a lot of information that you need to know prior to your term starting. So it's information that you'll find useful. If you don't attend, then there might be key information that you might be missing. So make sure that you register for the orientation once there are more details that are available to you. When again, I'm not sure whether the date has already been decided, but you'll get an email in terms of how to register for it. And I think you might be able to, let me just see if you can, if you go to this web page. So it kind of tells you a little bit more about online orientation and all of that. So obviously the orientation will be online. It's not going to be in person. But yeah, so that's all. Okay, let's move on. So KPU Moodle. So this is, you'll be accessing this very frequently throughout your studies at KPU. So basically, this is a learning management system that KPU has for online learning, and instructors may use this in different ways depending on their teaching styles and what works best for their course. You may be required to complete quizzes on Moodle. You might be required to submit assignments, as well as you can ask questions or discuss course content through various forums within KPU Moodle. So if you haven't already done so, I do recommend that you log into KPU Moodle and kind of see familiarize yourself with the interface. Like I said, many instructors doing this, especially when classes are online, they'll be posting all the material on KPU Moodle. Most likely, once you register for your courses, you should be able to see the course itself on KPU Moodle. Let's say that classes have started and you are registered into a course and you don't see it on your KPU Moodle. Just reach out to the instructor and let them know, because the instructor just have to give you access to their course. So maybe somehow it was missed and they forgot to give you access, or there was another reason. So just reach out to the instructor, let them know that you're registered into their course, but you're not able to see anything on KPU Moodle, and they should be able to resolve that issue, hopefully. Okay. So the Peer Mentorship program. So this is a program that we started a few semesters back. So in addition to advisors who are here to help you with your course planning and any questions that you might have throughout your studies at KPU, you also have support from KPU students. So these are either students who are currently taking courses at KPU or they're newly graduated students. So if you enroll into the Peer Mentorship program, we will pair you with a KPU student or a new graduate student who you can reach out to if you have any questions throughout your semester. Obviously, more complicated questions that are related to courses, course planning, or program itself, they will ask you to see an advisor for that. But if there are any questions that are basic questions related to maybe your health and dental plan, your temporary insurance, anything else that you might want to ask. Maybe you want to ask the student how online experience has been for them, because most likely they would have taken online courses as well. You can reach out to them and connect with them. They have appointments, as well as you can reach out to them through email. So you have to register for this program. You will get details about this program in your KPU email account before the semester starts. So if you're interested, you should register for the program. If you don't register, then you won't get enrolled. Okay, so I do recommend for any new student that you do enroll into this program. It is quite useful to be able to connect with a KPU student who is actually going through the same journey as you may be. Okay. So preparing for the Canadian classroom. So obviously, given that classes are online, it is important that you have a laptop, a personal computer, or a tablet in order to be able to complete the courses successfully. You can't do your courses on a phone. Okay, we have had some students try to complete their courses using their phone. It's not doable. Okay, so make sure that you have a laptop or a computer. A tablet might be okay, but I would recommend that you either have a laptop or a personal computer. Okay. And then right now, you should be able to, once you go into your KPU Moodle, you may be able to see the Academic Integrity Recognition course. So this is a really good course that we recommend students to take prior to them starting their courses at KPU. Basically, this and the link provided here will take you to the course itself. But it's highly recommended because it goes over sort of what academic integrity is, what plagiarism is, how you can paraphrase things, how you can reference things properly. Many international students, I wouldn't say many, but there are always a few cases where international students, they are penalized with plagiarism. They didn't intend to plagiarize. I mean, it just happened accidentally. They weren't aware that they were plagiarizing, and they got accused of that. And there can be severe consequences if you are deemed to have plagiarized. You can get an F grade in the course, or there can be even more severe consequences. So it's good that you do this course so that you're aware of what is considered plagiarism, so that you can avoid that in your courses. Okay, and then attend writing workshops offered by the Learning Center. So again, throughout the semester, there'll be a lot of workshops specific to writing skills that you can register for through the Learning Center website. Again, we highly recommend that you take these courses, because for many of your courses, if not all, there will be some writing component to the course that you'll be required to do. And again, having writing is probably the number one thing that many international students struggle with, but there are resources out there to help you. So make sure that you take the initiative to use these resources and improve your skills, so that you can get the best grade that you possibly can in your courses. Okay. I think that's the end of the presentation. So I know that was a lot to go over, and I'm sure you will have questions probably after the session ends. But there are ways for you to connect with us if you have questions. So you can book an online appointment, a 30-minute appointment through advisorconnect.kpu.ca. Login credentials will be the same as your user ID and password. Like I said, because this is registration time, it's a very busy time, so you may not be able to find an appointment during this time. But if you're not able to find an appointment, we also have online drop-in sessions. So we have drop-in sessions Monday and Wednesday, and as well as Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday from 2 to 4, and on Monday and Wednesdays in the morning from 10 to 12. So drop-in sessions, I mean, they are meant for if you just have one or two quick questions, you can come in and ask that. But I understand that during this time with course planning, if you're not able to find an appointment, it's okay to come during drop-in sessions, but make sure that for the following semester, you'll be more prepared. So make sure that you book an appointment in advance if you need help with course planning, and don't come in the drop-in session for that. Okay. In terms of how to attend the online drop-in session, the link provided at the bottom, kpu.ca/international/advising, you'll be able to find instructions on how you can join the online drop-in session. Again, even though the time stated here is 10 to 12, it's not necessarily that, you might, if you enter the drop-in session around 11 o'clock, most likely you may not be given access to enter because the drop-in session might be full, because there are only an X number of students that we can take depending on how many advisors we have available during that time. So try to join as early as you can, most likely at 10 a.m. Try to come in so that you can see an advisor. If you come in too late, then there's no guarantee whether you'll be able to join the drop-in session. Okay. And then there's also a phone number, so you can call in as well. Be prepared to hold, because like I said, during this time, many students might be calling, so there might be long hold times in order to connect to somebody. And the timings are Monday to Friday, except Wednesday from 1 to 4. And then the last way for you to connect to us is through email, internationalstudents@kpu.ca. When you, obviously, again, a reminder that make sure that you use your KPU email account to email us and include your student ID number whenever you send an email, and expect, a few days for us to get back to you, a few business days. So once you send an email, you will get a response probably within 5 business days. Okay, so these are some of the ways that you can connect with us. So I think that ends our presentation. I hope you found this information useful, and we look forward to I look forward to seeing some of you during your first semester. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Sarah. It was a pleasure to have you with us. I hope everyone who attended this session enjoyed the presentation. I would like to remind all of you that we will be sharing the recording of the session later this week to make sure that you can review the information prior to your registration. So once again, if you have questions that were not answered during today's webinar, please feel free to contact the international office. As Sarah kindly shared with us, you can email us at internationalstudents@kpu.ca or book an appointment with an advisor through advisorconnect.kpu.ca. This concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending. We hope you have learned a lot today and enjoyed the session, and wish you the best in your first semester at KPU. Thank you very much.